Coming straight out of Ecamm. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam.
Hold it, stop the music!
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Can I please have your attention?
Now showtime, are you ready? Are you ready for start time?
Let's find out. Ready, let's go.
There you go. Thank you, guys. Hello. See, I told you it's early. It's 4 a.m. Okay, what I was saying is I'm going to be doing this workshop talking about Ecamm, but even without Ecamm, although I don't know why you would go into Zoom without Ecamm, even without Ecamm, these should help you make for a better experience with your setup when you are using Zoom. I'm Doc Rock, the community manager at Ecamm. That's where I get the hat and the shirt. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them in at any given time. We don't have like a structured presentation because it really sort of matters around about your questions, and then we'll go from there. But I will be talking about the basics of what you need in order to have an epic setup and what else you need to bring to the table in order to make it therefore better. Okay, so let's get in. First, let me just check to make sure that comments are working and you guys are around here, and then we'll be going. Let's get it started. All right, we get questions in there. I see Ashley's here. Rabbi David is here. Elaine is here early in the morning. Good morning, Elaine. I just got to hang out with Elaine. That was super awesome. Kat is here, so everything is already good just because Kat's here, and she's, amazing. There is Mr. Tom Buck, first thing in the AM. Good to see you here, Tom. Parker is around. Good morning, Parker. I see everybody is up here. It's a combination of both, Rich, because I knew it was early, but I'm thinking it was like 6 early. So then I went to bed, and then I looked at the calendar right before just to make sure everything was good. And it was like, nah, player, 4 a.m. And I was like, oh, my God. So, yeah, it's a couple of hours of sleep happening. There you go. All right, let's check. Mr. AJ is here. AJ and Kat are going to be rocking with us this week during the Zoom workshop. Happy to see you guys, Mr. Camera Junkie. Let's see. Ken, how's it going? Good to see you. And I see, Stefan's here. Good to see everyone. Everyone's here. Everyone is here and ready to go. Let's dive in. Morning, Bob. Let's see. Yes, we need coffee. Somebody please deliver the coffee. I'm trying to get down to the parts where everybody said, hey, Doc, you was muted. And it was really funny as I told myself to unpress that button, but I guess it didn't work out like that. Okay. Let's see. One of the first things that we want to talk about, Germany. Wow. Vigit up. Good to see you here. Is one of the first things that you're going to want to do is set yourself up for success. And I know that sounds super simplistic, but the thing that I think, this is my personal opinion, from watching a lot of people do Zooms, one of the first things that everybody does sort of ineffectively in their process, which is probably causing the most headache, would be not having sufficient lighting. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the basics and what you're going to need as far as lighting goes, first and foremost. You can start out with something as simple as a little square on-camera light. I have a sample right here. This is literally what you can start out with if you're using something like a phone as your master camera. And why am I going to go lighting before I go camera? You'll see how I go through this, right? In my order of structure, what you're going to want, just so we can go ahead and put this down on paper so everybody can have a head start. Microphone is going to be probably the most important because people need to hear you. And then we'll get, I say lighting will be your second important, and then your camera will be last. Because even with proper lighting, we can make a bad camera look decent, right? But a good camera with bad lighting will look bad no matter what, right? I can put you on $100,000 camera and give you bad lighting and it will look bad. So it's important to get your lighting game up. But I think this is the easiest one for most people to fix, and yet many people don't address it for I don't know why. So we're going to talk about that to make sure we get you guys in the right spot. So hold on. Just try to get that awake. All right, cool. Now that baby is awake. Let's go. So this here is a Nanlite 5C. This is really, really tiny. It's not going to give you an awful lot, but it's probably better than having nothing. This guy sets you back like 50, 60 bucks. It fits right on top of the camera, and you can use this either as a master light that sits directly on and shines at you, or you can use it as fill light and color it pops. As you see, I have tons of them back there. They're all over the place. There's 5 of these in the office floating right now, and then the 2 tubes and whatever I knocked on the floor, and then the little light bulb back here in the corner is just all things like this, right? So this works. This does go into a white light mode, and it does work really well as a single on-camera white light like such. The only thing that I would tell you to probably shy away from if you have this setup is I would tell you to not put it directly on your camera like that, because although it seems okay, it's a little harsh, it's a little bright, and it will give you weird looking face, right? Well, some of us are born like this, but let me put a diffuser on real quick to give you an idea what it looks like when it's been properly diffused. Let me grab the one from back there. All right, so this is the diffuser that it comes with. Now, these can be bought in myriad brands. I tend to stick to like Nanlite and Aperture, but even people like Neewer and some of the other cheaper brands do exist. I just happen to like the Nanlite. So I can put it right there on the top, and you'll see that adds a little bit of extra light. So if all I had was a notebook and I was working off of my notebook camera, I would get something like this Nanlite 5C as a way to fill your face. It does come in other formats like this. This is the tube version. This is my favorite version. Of course, this one's not charged. You plug this in real fast. It'll pop right up. The tube version is cool. I like these because I travel with these. I normally travel with anywhere between 2 to 5 of these in my suitcase. They're super light. They don't weigh a lot. And these are quite amazing, right? So again, of course, I'm Doc, so I have it in the purple mode. But in the proper white mode, you put this on, sit it right on top of your camera. But what I do is in the hotel, I place this just off to the side. And just adding that, you can see where it adds a nice little pop of light to my face, right? So this, again, super inexpensive. When these guys are on sale, they're like $59. When they're not on sale, they're like $80. And a quite amazing, probably one of my favorite light sources available on the interwebs today. These are the Nanlite 5Cs. You can get them from B&H, Amazon, whatever. I have them on my kit on kit.co/DocRock or docrock.live/kit. You can do it either way. They both do the same thing. I have them in there already, but those are good, really basic lights that you can add. Now, common question that comes up all the time is, can you do this with just like regular house lights? Kind of yes, but not really. Normally, they're tinted yellow. You can buy daylight bulbs, but house lights tend to have really short fall off, and that's just a weird word for, you see how bright this is here at roughly a foot? That's at 2 feet. That's at 3 feet. That's at 4. At 4, you almost don't even know it's there. So if I turn it around and turn it back, it's not even changing, right? So that's the fall off, right? How fast does it stop being effective? If you put your hand in front of a light source and then you just sort of back it up, how fast does it get to where you don't notice there's a change in your hand anymore? That's fall off. Most house bulbs have really, really quick fall off. All right, so let me double check to make sure how we're cooking with questions, and then we'll go from here. All right. Let me come to that. Let's just see. All right, so Mr. Brian says, how do you eliminate echo on your computer when no one else is hearing it? We'll have a full-on audio workshop that digs deep into that, but you're going to have to define echo, because if nobody else is hearing it, then where's the echo coming from? Like, are you talking about echo from your room? Are you talking about every time your audio in your computer plays, another audio source comes in? So, like, is it sound like this type of echo where you can hear it because your speakers are loud and your microphone can pick it up and it sounds horrible? Turn off the speakers. Put headphones in your head. So if it's that type of echo, that's because you are listening to your own self-talk, and that's probably not a good look to do that, right? Dan said, are there several methods I have heard to share PPT, but Zoom resolution is a challenge? Do you recommend the best way? No, because as you bring in your PowerPoint, Zoom is going to do what Zoom is going to do. There's not a lot that you can do to change that. But I always believe throw it in the best way possible. As far as like setting your resolution up in the program, as long as you set your resolution up in the program right, I do everything at 4K. I'm weird, but PowerPoint is going to be 1920 by 1080. If you're set it at 1920 by 1080, what Zoom does to it is kind of out of your control. Honestly, Keynote does a better job at that because Keynote is more graphic centric, but they're basically the same in that, the general principles is the same. So if you have Keynote would probably just look better. Just the way Apple renders it is slightly different, but it's kind of sort of the same. Okay, let's dive back in. Let me just scroll over here. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so that is what we have down as sort of basic. That's what we have down as sort of the basic lighting. Let's get higher up on the stronger lighting. All right, so my next maneuver would probably be something like a 60 watt cob light. Let me grab a cob light. Paul, Mr. Moderator Paul will probably tell you guys that shopping with me is probably dangerous for your health, but these are really simple things that will make your life better. So what we're going to be working on now is a little bit more powerful of a key light. And this is 150 watt because the 60 watt is hanging in my ceiling, but you can get it as simple as a 60 watt. Now, the reason why I tend to like cob lights, right? And they're called cob lights. You'll see why in a second. Bang for the buck, right? Especially dealing with aperture, nanlite, Neewer, Godox, things like that. Bang for the buck. You'll get the most output for your light that won't look bad. I can't think of it in a different way to say it. A 60 watt nanlite cob light will set you back like $120, and a say slightly higher will go slightly higher, but you can start out with like $120. And I prefer these over. I know this common question comes up. What about Elgato key light airs? Elgato key light airs are amazing. They don't have as much light as you think they do, and they fall off rather quickly as well. What I mean, again, if your desk is, say, 24 inches deep, they'll probably look great. If your desk gets deeper than, say, 36 inches, they're going to fall off really quickly, and you'll have to have them on full blast to give you any semblance of pop in your face where you can kind of see the light. My Nanlite 60 is roughly 4 feet away from me, and it's bright as the dickens. I have it on about 4 right now, which is going up to 100. So let's figure that out. Let me pull this guy on the ground real quick. Okay, this is 150 watt. I bought this on sale for $199, and it's still in the box because I have 200 watt right there and a 60 watt right there. But at the price when it was on sale, I had a hard time not getting it, so I bought it. So this is a cob light. I know it looks kind of huge, but trust you me, this guy is gorgeous when it's working. So here's a little button that you press to take off the protective cover. So that protective cover comes off, and that is a cob. It's known as a circuit on board. Okay, 150 watts of cob light is bright. I mean, extremely bright. As a matter of fact, it's kind of too bright, so you're going to end up putting a modifier on it. But again, this does come in as small as a 60 watt. And if you look at the Aperture 60 watt and the Nanlite 60 watts, they are relatively tiny. They're not that huge. Now, what I do with my 60 watt in order to make it look amazing is I put it on a lantern, okay? And what that is like a white balloon made out of X-Pack. That's what the terminology is. Anybody of a certain age remember parachute pants? That's what X-Pack is like. X-Pack is like parachute pants when we were, in high school. And anybody who remembers that, I hope you still don't wear those. Your family will not be happy if you still wear those pants. Anyway, what it does is that it allows for a nice soft diffusion, right? So it's a little bit thicker white than this plastic right here. So the white is like, if I double this plastic up, that's about what it looks like. So when the light comes through here, it gives a nice diffusion and you get a glow that's sort of like this. And then when it's on your face, it's really soft. I think a key takeaway, no matter what type of lights you use, is remember, the larger the light source, the softer the light. So what people are normally tripping about when they're dealing with their light is when you use a harsh light source, it creates really harsh shadows on your face, right? Harsh shadows on your face equate age. So if I were to do something like remove my hat so you can see all the baldness in my head, right? I don't have any heavy shadows other than the one that's created right here on the side of my face. And that's being created because I have this fill light right here on the side. So again, a 60-watt cob light, and the brands kind of sort of don't matter if you're going from the budget perspective. Neewer, Godox, whatever, those are fine. Slightly better would be Aperture, Neewer. Those are my two favorite. And I kind of stick to one brand. Once you start a brand, it's kind of nicer if you stick to one, because you will be controlling these guys via an application of some sort. So there's my phone. Sorry, I was looking for my phone so I can kind of give you guys an idea. If I go here onto my app, Nanlite comes with a really cool looking app like this. And this application allows me to control all the lights in my room just by pressing buttons. And so that includes the tubes, these little square guys right here. Like, all of these are easily controlled by the phone app. So that's another reason why I tend to like having something like that. So I'm going to kick my key light. The one I'm going to change right now is going to be my 200 watt that's in the ceiling. See there, I just popped it off. Now I'm going to show you what 200 watts of craziness looks like. Okay, if I was asleep, I am aptly awake right now. And again, that's also diffused with a 36-inch dish. And on that 36-inch dish, I have a white grid. I'll show you in a split second. I normally end up running it around, let's say, 15%. That is my normal. Actually, that's a little brighter than normal, but that's about where I'm normally sitting at 15%. Let me give you an idea of what that looks like in real time. One of these directions is the correct direction. Okay, there we go. So that is the Nanlite 200 watt covered in a 36-inch dish with what they call a 45-degree grid on it. And what that grid does is just keeps the light concentrated to my desk. By having this on, the light stays concentrated to my desk and it doesn't fill to my back. If you didn't need that grid, it's not that big a deal. The reason why I have it gridded is so that the back stays dark. If I take that off, the light spills all the way back into the back, and then I lose that certain je ne sais quoi. You know, I have that in order to just concentrate the light straight down. So that's a 200 watt, but I have the 200 watt on 15%. So before, that used to be a 60, and I only had one light. It works really, really well with just one light. But I changed it because I wanted to have a soft fill. So let me show you if I just turn off the 200 and only use the 60. So we're going like, low budget for a second. 200, go off. Now that it's on, it don't want to, there we go. Stay off. Now we're going to go to the 60. So this is just the 60. So I can still come off with an amazing image. But with this image, I don't have any side fill. So we're getting to probably one of the most important questions that comes up in a minute, and I'll explain why I have my lights situated the way I have them situated. They are at 45-degree angles away from me, right? So the 60 is at a 45-degree above my head. The 200 is at that same angle. Let me give you, here's the 60 right here. Right? So if you can see all the way up there in the ceiling, there's a tiny little Nanlite 60. And then I have an 18-inch dome. I'm using the curtains on the dome to send the light straight down. If I roll those curtains up, it will brighten up Big Poppy back there. Hello, Big Poppy. And then go Sox. And remember, Red Sox, the greatest baseball team ever to walk the face of the earth. So that's coming there. And I'm using those 3 skirts again to send the light directly down so that they come down to my desk and not splash back. I don't mind that it fills the corner for the blue wall and the white wall because that just adds a little extra ambience. And with that situation in place, with the little 18-inch box, sorry if I'm making you seasick, then you get this. But there's no side fill, right? So that's creating a harsh shadow. So what I could do then is take something like this, diffuse it, put it right off to the side and just fill it in, and now you have a complete picture, right? So only thing I'm doing differently than what I'm showing you in my hand is I've created this exact same setup, but instead of having this little guy, which is probably like 30 watts, maybe less, instead of having this as my fill light, I have my 60 watt as my fill light and my 200 watt as my key, right? You can also cheat and just have a white reflector. So here's a towel, and even if all I did was just pick this up, you'll see it fills in my face a little bit because the light's shining into the towel. What a lot of people do is they use a white cardboard or a silver cardboard, and that's sort of a bounce reflector, and they reflect some of that light back. So if you want to have a single light source, the reason why I have it 45 degrees is glasses. Everyone says, well, how do you not have glasses glare? Like, even if I look up, it's kind of hard, but I don't stream like this very often. I normally stream like this, looking at you, talking to you. There is no glare in my glasses because I am 45 degrees off and up in the air with a strong enough light source that I can make it bright but not take over my face. So even when I come back and switch on the other light, I'm going to do this backwards. I'm going to use my 200 watt as a fill. Now, there it is. I get a nice even picture, some shadows because no shadows makes you look like a ghost, right? And, you know, you have a sort of a decent picture. Then all I got to do is swap them to overpower. I can get them to like this. And, yeah, this is called 20-year-old influencer lighting. Just horrible. I don't know why people do this, but I don't like that. But that's sort of getting us into the sunlight realm. So if I put this back at like 15% and then bring down my 60 watt, you can see that you can totally do it with just a 60 watt light and some sort of fill. That fill can come from your window. That fill can come from your window. That fill can come from a reflector. But yes, you could absolutely do it with a 60 watt light. And again, that wasn't at the fullest. That is more that is 60 watt at its fullest. And I don't know, it looks a little ghostly to me. So I'm going to put it back where I had it. There. All right, let's double check to see how we are doing on questions. Hello, Janice. Good to see you here. There's Paul. There's Paul with my... Yes, sorry. This too. The cob light, where would you place it? I never place light in the front, ever. That's a choice. I'm going to tell you this right now. Lighting directly in front of your face is a choice. I personally, from a videography, photography standpoint, thinks it looks absolutely horrible. But your newscasters, they have front face flat lighting. If you watch any news show, you're looking at front faced flat lighting. And I just think it looks bad. I can't stand it. That's up to you guys. I prefer what's known as Rembrandt lighting. And that's where my lighting is at, either 45 degrees or either side, you know. Anywhere between 30 and 45 degrees on either side, and you'll get decent lighting. It's called Rembrandt lighting because, it creates this. If you're looking at the sun and you go outside, you have a nice you have a nice soft butterfly under your nose. Let me see if I can do this real quick. So some people call it butterfly lighting because they can't remember Rembrandt. So, but yeah, it's called Rembrandt lighting or butterfly lighting. And let me show you what we're speaking on here. Let's get somebody that doesn't look as funny looking as Doc. Do not, dun, 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 dun. All right, here we go. This is an image of Rembrandt lighting. You see the nice soft like reflection under the nose, shadow under the nose. And then it allows your face to have fullness. It allows your face to have depth and human looking, right? If you don't use Rembrandt lighting, you end up looking like a ghost, right? Another good image of Rembrandt lighting. If you guys want to look good on camera, do what photographers do, right? Videography is photography at 24 frames a second. I don't know why you guys keep trying to do 60. 60 is a waste of time if you're just sitting there talking. 30 is fine. I'm a cinema guy. I come from film. 24 is the answer. All right. Anyway, you can argue 24 and 30 all day. None of us need to be doing 60 frames per second unless you're doing video games. And all of the people that are sold on that somehow looks better, they failed math. Because as a still person doing this and having the only thing that's changing 60 times a second is my lips or my hands is a waste of bandwidth. Anyway, not opinionated, professional. So it just makes your life easier, right? So that is what Rembrandt lighting looks like. And so I just horrible to have it in the front. Let me show you flat lighting. See if I can find images that sort of give that off. This is flat lighting. And like, unless you're trying to be Vogue, it just looks horrible. First of all, you get the deer in the headlight speculars. Some people like that. That's why ring lights were so popular. But look what it does to the shadow. It just puts the shadow directly under your chin. Your nose looks flat. You have no depth. Yeah. Even in something like this where you have an attractive looking person, it's not very flattering. This same lady with maybe a little bit more Rembrandt oriented lighting would look good. Where flat lighting looks dope is in wedding photos, right? But you're trying to run a Zoom workshop. You're not trying to get married. Flat lighting looks okay in a wedding photo. But again, we're not trying to get married here. We're trying to, look like a professional person. So unless you're dreaming, here's a dope example. Let me pull this out. Hold on 1 second. This is a dope example of the majorities of light. All right. This is the flat right there in the front, right? So that's just horrible. This is butterfly, right? Now this is a 3-light loop, right? Butterfly and Rembrandt are similar. The primary difference is higher and slightly more forward or 45 degrees. And then a split lighting is where I was talking about, where you put one light on the side and you bounce the other one, or you have a light in the front and a light in the back. Those are the, you know your face, your nose, right? If you are blessed with an amazing size schnauzer like me, right? If you're blessed extra schnauz, then you might not want to go in and do a straight butterfly. You might want to pull a little bit more Rembrandt, right? I can tell from this picture that this lady is slightly schnauzed like myself. So you can see of all of these images, the Rembrandt light right here, number 4, is probably, my opinion, the most flattering for this particular image. So that explains why you don't put lights directly in the front, Mr. Victor. And looking at your face, definitely don't put them in the front. Sorry, Victor. All right. Yes, Elgato key lights are great. Not my first choice from a professional like video, picture, whatever. They're not bad at all. Don't get that twisted. They're fantastic. You got to have the right lighting situation for that. So again, they're not extremely bright. So they're going to have to be closer to your face than, most people. Will you be covering lights for those of us that work in a studio but not use a desk? James, explain what do you mean by that? Because this desk or no desk, that's another reason why, again, to me, Elgato key lights are dope. They work for a desk, right? When you're not sitting at a desk per se, moving around in a studio, then studio lights, this is exactly what you use in every single movie, every single TV show, whatever. Why we're talking about these style of lights, because these work in everything. When you watch Star Wars, you're looking at these, normally Westcott, not Nanlite, but you're looking at these in a Westcott brand, and the only difference between this 150 watt Baby Luco in the Nanlite versus a Westcott is about $1,000. Westcott gets to charge more because they're Westcott, and that's about right, So yeah. In theory, that's the right answer. Alex, let me see if I can go back and find the original. People, please put your cues. It makes it so much easier for me to find your question. I don't see the first part of Alex's question, so Alex, you might have to re-ask that question in deeper context so I can get you squared away. I think we did that, but yeah, we can do that. We can do that a little bit more. Boom. Paul says Forza 60 is one of the best purchases. I'm just scrolling through trying to see where we are. Does anyone run Zoom sessions in a space with natural lighting? I can change my room from dark to fully lit in about 3 button presses. Here's the problem with natural light. It's a very good question. I kind of leave this up here for a second. Very good point about natural light. Depending on where you live, in most cases, that lighting will change roughly every 20 minutes, right? I live in the tropics, so my 20 minutes is more like 5, maybe 10, right? So if you are smack dead equatorial, you probably don't want to use natural lighting. A lot of the people, my Florida people, my Texas people, those of us closer to the middle, I wouldn't depend too much on natural lighting. If you're closer to the north, if you live in Alaska, knock yourself out. Your light will be the same for 24 hours. You're good to go. But for the rest of us, as you get towards the center of the blue pill, you probably want to have light that you can control. So the closer you live to the Arctics, natural lighting might be your friend. The closer you live to the belly, you probably don't want to trust natural lighting. And most people don't understand that. Your lighting is changing constantly. And everyone says this, oh, save money, just pop up in front of a window. All right, what happens when the thunderstorm kicks off right in the middle of your most important stream? What you gonna do now, Rich? Right? Like, not a good look. You want lighting in your control. Here, okay, write this down, people. If you hope you got a pen and a paper, it's probably be the most important thing I say all day. Lighting for photography or for video, which we are doing photography/video lighting, because video is photography at 24 frames a second. That's it. You're not controlling light. You're controlling shadows. Okay, run that back. The person I learned lighting from, a guy named Victor Milt, who is a Oscar award-winning lighting specialist, been in many movies, films, TVs, commercials, whatever. He taught me that lighting is controlling shadows, not light, right? And when you go from that angle, you kind of understand what you're doing. So to the point of not liking the dark room, here, let me pull you up one of my homies. I think he's still here. Let me pull you up one of my homies who has their setup in gorgeously well-lit room. And he can do this because he's handsome. I am not, so I don't do this. But I'll show you. And I know his lighting setup is basically the same as mine. Also using Nanlite, by the way. But let's get it. Let's get it. 8 days ago. Here, 4 days ago. Let's pull up this guy. I'm going to mute him for a second. And then let's go full screen. And do one of these. Please don't break anything. And then give me a second. All right. So this is full room lighting. This is exactly what full room lighting looks like. And like me, I know that Tom is rocking about 18 lights. So you can pull off full room lighting really well, but you know the same Pavo tubes in the background, like absolutely identical Pavo tubes in the background. On the floor, causing the lighting in the guitar regions, also Pavo tubes. In the cabinet behind his body, which is causing that little light on his arm, is Pavo tubes in the cabinet. There's Nanlite Forza 60 to the left. And if I remember correctly, there's another Nanlite Forza 600 to the right. And then there's Pavo tube on the ground. As you can see, the light reflected on the microphone. And his hair light, also Pavo tube. So yeah, I just, in a very similar space, you can pull bright lighting. You don't have to have dark and creepy. You could have bright and Tom and still, you know, you have control. Like I can turn my room into that in a matter of seconds just by changing all the purples to white. Like it'd be simple, right? So that's it. It is fine to do that, but the concepts are still the concepts, right? So yes, boom, boom, boom. The cool thing about lighting, Victor, is you can sell the GVM in a heartbeat and then get it back. Witness protection services. Oh my God. Actually, let me show you same exact setup built into the Ecamm studio. If you watch live from the Ecamm studio, which I also built with Katie, we have her set up with a bright lighting situation as well. Katie, where are you at, Katie? Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, Katie, we gotta fix your SEO for the Ecamm. From the test studio, where is Kate's? There it is. There's Katie. Boom. This is from the test studio featuring Katie. Stop right there. There. Same thing. Again, 2 Nanlite Pavo tubes on the bottom, a Nanlite 60 in the front at 45 degrees, fully lit. And then practical lights in the background. So that is a single one Nanlite 60 coming from the front. And I don't know if she took this down, but I had a Danzin desk light clamp to the table, which it doesn't look like in this image she has it turned on. But that is a single 60 watt Nanlite in the front and Pavo tubes on the floor, of which one of 2 is turned on. The other one on the right side of her isn't turned on. Only the one on the left side of her is turned on. So that is again, a single Pavo tube on the floor causing the blue pop. Because we use gray paint, we can make that blue wall any color that we want it to be. This paint that you see behind Katie is the exact paint that I have behind my head right now in my room. Right? So again, that's how you pull brightly lit room with this no special sauce included. All right. Oh, here it is. Ecamm. I'm like, okay, Doc. All right. So let's go check some more. Right. It does look weird without it, Rich. I agree. There you go. Elaine answered that question. There you go. So again, just to make sure we're getting this covered, the only thing to do to make your space look more neutral is to don't put a grid on your key light. If I take the grid off my key light, I can fix that. But let me see if I can pull this off real quick. I'll give you guys an example. This is going to totally, just for you guys, because I like you guys, I'm going to ruin my space. Oh, this is painful. It's making me hurt. Oh, don't cry, Uncle Doc. It'll be okay. The vampire is coming out. And literally the rest would be turn off the Christmas lights, right? Like just doing that, turn off the Christmas lights and do this. There. I can make my room, if the Christmas lights weren't on now, I could make my room look almost more human. And then the last one would be to change the bulb in the back from blue to something else and make it just look like a standard issue light bulb. And yeah, literally that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of about it. Like, you can adjust. Again, my wall is gray. Most people don't know that because they see it as purple all the time because of the field lights. What you don't see is underneath the iMac, I also have two more lights that are just off, but in a matter of a couple of button presses, I can make my room look boring and neutral. Yes, always, Zach, better diffusion will always give you that certain je ne sais quoi, right? 100%. So Felicia, good point. I've been trained properly to go with as much wattage as possible because you can take a 500, 600 watt light and turn it down, but you can't take a 50 watt light and turn it up. It will never be stronger than 50 lights. So now, again, your space has to be permitted because that 200 watt has a fan. You don't hear it, but the 200 watt, everything above 200 has a fan. Everything under 200 doesn't really. As a matter of fact, this 150 probably has, yeah, even his 150 has a fan. So I can turn the fan off. But of course, if the fan is there, it's probably supposed to be on. So again, if you're really close, you probably can't go too high because the fan will just make, more noise. Right? Well, somebody in here is smart. All right. Let's check, make sure. All right, boom, boom, boom. I want to go to cues to just answer the questions, but I can tell right now if I change that, I am going to miss a bunch of your question, because you guys are not put in the queue, but that's okay. I just want to make sure we got it. Boom. What's up, E? Good to see you here, Miss Lady. This is a very good point. Somebody had mentioned this. Bouncing lights off the ceiling and the wall is great if you have pretty good white walls, not, slightly tinted. A lot of times you get white paint, it's tinted with a little bit of cream. That's going to change your lighting color, but yeah, you're going to do that. Steven, I have 3 looking at me straight in the face too. And I run them in dark mode so that I have control over lighting. Again, when lighting is controlling the shadows in that, right? So if I run, this is a 32, right? And then a 27 and a 27. And if you do that, you're going to throw yourself off with screen light. So I tend to run my stuff in dark mode. And yeah, man, this room look right here is killing the vampire inside of me. I kind of showed it. I'll do it again real quick. Nan light 60 hanging in the ceiling, right? It's attached to the ceiling, 60-watt nan light with a 18-inch dome. This dome is just a big plastic ball, and again, I can control how much light leaks out by opening and closing the skirt, right? I have the skirt set to point straight down at the overhead. Sorry, messy desk. Deal with it. This is a Nanlite 200 right here, and it has, again, a soft box on it with a grid. That grid stops it from filling in the back. And then in the back, there's a light. There's my hair light. There's another wall light. Here's the door light, Pavo tube, another Pavo tube which came off. And then I have the blue lights there on the back, blue light on the back, another Pavo tube, and the blue light and the light bulb. So that's all my lights. So that's basically what it looks like. And then this mess of a desk. I hope you guys can hear that. SM7B doesn't like to hear the back of the room. If your mic can hear that far back, your mic is set up horribly. So, anyway, lighting doesn't change whether indoors or outdoors. Really, principles are principles. You're going to do the exact same thing. You're just going to use reflectors and that to control the shadows. But the principles are basically the principles. This is also a good tip. Change your backgrounds to neutral colors on your desktops like gray or white. I use dark mode so it doesn't really bother it. Technically it is 23.59, but see, again, assuming 23.59 is, yeah, it's the same thing. 24p is basically 23.59. Back in the days of non-digital, that's what we called it. Oh, God. Can't stand that either. We'll talk about that, Cat. I can't stand that. Boom. Let me see. Just check in. Yes, it's 25 FPS in the UK. You know what's funny? Nowadays, that really doesn't matter. The UK versus the North America, Asia type setups doesn't really matter anymore because it's mostly digital. So that's kind of going away. But yeah. Okay, good answer. Here we go. Bob, about lights in the background. They seem to add depth and dynamic range. You notice that all the top YouTubers use them, including you. And here's the reason why. If you skip us YouTubers for a second and just go straight Netflix, you'll see the same thing. Why? Because it does exactly what you said. It provides depth. If I didn't have those lights back there, it makes the room look flat. And flat, just boring. It's just super boring. So going back to Katie for a second. Hey, stop that. Boom. Going back to Katie for a second, you can tell now that Katie is not like in a tiny box room, like flushed up against the wall. And the reason for that is because we put the pops of light. So these tiny things that you see on the bookshelves, the things like the bowling pin, the smaller lights, those are what are known in the industry as practical lights. Practical lightings do exactly what you say. They provide depth. Another one, which a lot of people don't pay attention to, is right back there. If you look at my hand, there's a light. It's kind of hard to see now that I made those bright, but that light is what's causing this area on my head. It's called the hair light. Don't get cute with the jokes. It helps separate me from the background. So having a light that blesses the back of your head, your hair, your shoulders, that hair light will totally change. Even if you're bald, you still need a hair light, right? If you want to look good. So there's that. Just checking. There's so many of people doing this. All right, I'm just checking. Here we go. Any advice for natural studio lighting window? I would tell you what, if I got stuck, oh my God. I don't know if I have the behind the scenes, but let me check real quick. I can look at my phone real fast. Give me 2 seconds. In the studio where Katie is located, the whole studio used to be a yoga studio, so it's well lit. And the first thing we did when we got there, well, not we, the first thing that went down when it was my turn to go in and fix the studio was to cover each and every one of those windows, right? So this is in the hallway, but this is what the lights look like in the office where Katie sits, right? Not lights, the windows. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 of those gigantic windows. The first thing we did was close every one of those windows with blackout blinds. Thank you, Jill. I don't know if Jill's still around. And then painted the wall gray, and this is the exact same studio at the exact same desk where Katie is before we put the bookshelf in. Katie built that after I left and changed the entire look. So this room here in this shot is the exact same room as this shot. The only difference is Katie added a bookshelf and practicals. So even with the blue lighting, the table, everything's in the same spot, basically. That is a big difference between just using that neutral look as some of you guys. I'm going to go ahead and correct it. Nobody hate me. Neutral, boring. But I understand your career might require you to do such. Like, I don't know if I would want my attorney to show up with, flashing lights in the background. I get it. Yeah, so you can even pull that neutral look off and still have a pop of color and not make it look absolutely crazy. So let me go into psycho moments. But again, this is why Pavo tubes are really cool, because I can do, crazy stuff like that. can hit my multicolor, right? Come over here, pop this guy to like 27. There we go. And then pop this guy to 200. And boom, I can pull off Ecamm logo lights in a matter of seconds. You see what I mean? Like, so it just adds that little je ne sais quoi. I shoot in the basement too. This whole entire thing you see is in the basement. Never use your ceiling lights. This just looks bad. It looks bad in so many, even with the cool pops of color and everything, this just looks bad. So don't use your ceiling lights. Good thing NAND lights are unbreakable. Yeah, just don't, I don't know how people do it, but the ceiling lights are absolutely horrible. So turn those off and get yourself some studio lights. And all your lights should be LED at this point. Buying anything other than LED is bad. This cob light, I don't know if I expressed that enough. This is an LED light. Those little cobs are LEDs, right? The little things you see inside there. You want everything to be LED just because of consumption of power and because of price. I mean, LED lights are much, much cheaper, right, nowadays. So, yeah. Put this back how I had it because the witness protection lighting is kind of messing up my steez. All right, we spent a lot of time on light. I am not a gamer. I am a teacher. Not even close to being a gamer. I am a teacher. But I'm not teaching ancient Mesopotamian history either. I am teaching whatever. So yeah, again, it's just a matter of choice of colors and everything. Like I can make my studio look like anything because I painted the walls gray and I used the lights to change the reflection. The purple is a choice. There's a long story behind it. We won't get into it. I will say this though, and again, you have to understand your brand, you know what you're teaching, right? I will say this though, the number one comment I hear constantly is about my lighting in my studio. I think the assumption that teaching requires a university style room with plain lighting, and that's kind of out the window. You will find that somebody like Kat, whose studio looks amazing and she's teaching, she still has character, and she is probably one of the best teachers I know. And you'll find that out as you come to her session. And same with Tom. Tom, again, is literally one of the best teachers that I know. But let's pull up Kat right here in her glorious setup. And, again, seriously one of the best teachers that I know. And you can still have amazing character and amazing looking setups without, quote unquote gamer look. I think people assume that because there's RGB that somehow makes it a gamer space. But no, I just use my RGB and purple for that way. Here's another one. Do that. Boom, boom, boom. Where we click, click, click. And let's see, a good look at Heather's space. All right, here's a good look at Heather's space. Same like purplish look as me. Right? She's purple AF as well. But again, a little bit more neutral because she's brighter, right? But again, I picked the darkness for a reason. We won't get into that, but that was just a choice. So you can, like, don't assume that RGB means not informative. Like, if you go to any of these people that teach, they have RGB lighting and teach amazing things. Matt Haas, All Things YouTube, another incredible person in the Ecamm fam that teaches with his whole room is green, whereas my whole room is purple. Tom's whole room is blue. And we all teach. So don't, unless you're teaching ancient Mesopotamian basket weaving underwater, you can have personality and color to do teaching. You don't have to have boring. That's kind of out the window. Even if I was teaching a medical class, I would still add pops of color and give it some, because otherwise it's just boring. And what we're trying to defeat is Zoom fatigue that everyone speaks on, right? The whole Zoom fatigue that everyone speaks on comes from basically people using those weird fake backgrounds and, you know, just talking with their head in front of the PowerPoint. If I could give anybody a tip when it comes to creating, the first thing you should do is stop putting your head in front of the PowerPoint. Like, that just instantly says, okay, I'm about to go to sleep. Because your PowerPoint might be flawless. It might be on point, and you might be telling someone how they can make $1 million in the next 5 minutes if only they followed your special system. But the other things that exist in the world that instantly says boring, go to sleep, so you're already trying to defeat it. And to get an understanding of what we mean by this, Starbucks' number one come up back when they first started was trying to get people to understand that coffee wasn't just for breakfast and truck drivers, that you could enjoy a cup of joe at any time of day. It's not the best cup of joe, but hey, they had to overcome that mentality of coffee is just for breakfast. Now, if you go to Instagram, IG, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, one of the most common things talked about, coffee. Right? Anybody over 50 like myself, when we were growing up, coffee was Brown Beans cup, hot water, Maxwell House, good to the last drop, U Brand, Hill Brothers, Cafe Du Monde. That's about it. We had like 5 or 6 brands total. So you got to get past that the way it was. I mean, we don't have to. You do what you want. But trust me, if you want it to look doper, you got to give it a certain level of your own self, your feeling. People want to learn from a person, not from a robot. There you go. Exactly. That's the key right there. Outside, 6-10Ks give you look. If you come out here and you see them film Hawaii 5-0, you'll see anywhere from 10 to 15 10Ks outside in the broad daylight. 10Ks mean 10,000 lumens. This light right here is the equivalent of a 10K. Thank you, Kates, for that. Yes, immediately put the blackout shades. Boom, boom, boom. Yo, we are way back. Let me catch this up. They're great. I'm personally not a fan. I won't say they're bad at all. They're absolutely great. A lot of people have them. They are just a lot harder to get that level of control that you get out of a regular light, and it has to do with flat panels. I used flat panels for years, and when I switched from flat panels back to cob lights, I immediately saw why all of my professional people hated flat panels. But flat panels are great. There's Falcon Eyes, there's the Elgatos, there's Neewer's, there's a bunch of them on the market. They're just a little bit harder to control, and it has to do with the fact that they're flat panels. But they do really good for diffusion, so yeah, they're amazing for that. Boom. You know, it's funny, Paul, we talk so much about people putting the cues in the front, like how much it helps. Oh, God, it really helps, because finding questions without the cue, a little bit hard. Let's see. Scrolling. Just checking. Yes, there is a special gray. It is... Munsell is a grayscale chart. There is something known as Graph Tech Munsell gray paint. Munsell 5, 7, and 8. 5 being the darker tone, 8 being the lighter tone, I think. I mess this up all the time. Anyway, so with the Munsell paint, what that means is it's a neutral gray. Hold on. And by neutral gray, we mean that there is no color cast. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. Can we do this? Can we do this? Is this going to work? No, where are you? Where are you? Okay, there we go. Sorry, people. 1 second. All right, so this is Munsell Gray. This is Munsell N7. It is the most neutral paint out there. This is a Munsell 5, and there's like down here on the bottom, there's a Munsell 9, there's 8 somewhere in the middle. So my paint color is based off of a Munsell 7, I believe, if I remember correctly. Let me just double check. Yeah, I have, mine is based off of a Munsell 7, which is this right here, smack in the middle. So we're looking at, here, let me see if it'll go bigger. Yeah. So what this means is this has perfectly neutral color. There's no color cast whatsoever. Trying to buy this paint where I live is impossible. You can get it at B&H. Let me switch back real quick. You can get it at B&H. It's called Graph Tech. But for me, shipping to Hawaii was going to put me at close to like $400 a gallon. So what I did was I went and found somebody that could duplicate that color. It took me forever, but I did it. So this is at B&H, right? If you buy this at B&H, you're looking at $100 a gallon, Munsell Neutral Gray N7. And that gives you the perfect gray paint. So I was like, for me, $400 a gallon with shipping was going to be ignorant, and I wasn't going to be able to bring it home in a plane. So it took me a lot of research, a lot of trial and error, but Sherwin-Williams Winchester Gray. I think that's correct. Yes, Sherwin-Williams Winchester Gray is as close to this without going crazy. Sherwin-Williams. There we go. So it's called SW2849. There's other brands that can pull it off depending on the paint area around you, but start with this and they will be able to tell you how to do this in their brand. Right? They'll be able to take the color, mix it, and get you quite similar same thing without, going through all the hassles. So let me put this in the chat, and that's what I use. And again, I've been working with a bunch of people in Ecamm that have followed this little trick. Any light color I shine on that wall, the wall becomes that color. It is literally that simple. So absolutely love this setup, right? So for instance, if I were to go here and pull one of these, I can completely change my look, right? And then as I change my other lights in the top, it'll catch up. It'll all do the same thing, right? So that's right there sitting on white. And if I just came over here, went to HSI, pulled this over to the red side, boom, I just changed my entire look of my space. And yeah, it's just a matter of pressing buttons. You see? So your space can be anything you want if you use that gray. It's kind of awesome. Actually, it's not 18% gray. That's the funny part. It's close, but it's not. Mine is actually more in the 20-something% gray. But it's not the 18%, it's the color cast. Because you can get 18% gray that has a blue, green, or orange color cast, and it will adjust. This is neutral AF. There's no cast. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. It took me forever to figure this out. I have streams where I broke it down. And Dean, I just updated the firmware in my lights, so I literally just updated the firmware yesterday to fix all of that stuff. Oh, Bob, please don't start. Okay, let me, this is purely opinion. Nobody hate me. I absolutely 115.8% despise green screens. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because the average muggle doesn't light them properly, so you can't get the effect that you're looking for. A true green screen requires some really amazing light work. And if you can get the lighting right, where when you're not in the picture, if your green screen can have a perfectly even tone from top to bottom with no variation in color and properly lit, 6 to 8 feet behind your head, and you are in the front, and then you are again also properly lit, your green screen will be flawless. Most people have the screen here, body here, making shadows on the screen wrinkly, and then it breaks down real quick. You got halos, it's obnoxious. Can't stand it. And so, yeah, to me, the fastest way to take your professional look and make it look amateur is bad green screen. Kate's, all of my lights are nan lights at this point. I'm sweeping them out. Yeah, so Kat is right. I'm glad she brought this up. Sorry, my portable one is in my backpack, so I'll show you this. If you don't buy anything else today listening to me, this is probably the most important thing you will ever buy for your studio. Like, seriously, no joke, no cap. This will be the most important thing you ever buy for your studio. And I'm going to show you. And this is where that comment about 18% gray kind of comes in. It comes from this. This, my friends, is known as a gray card. And what Kat is talking about in her comment is once I change all the lighting, I need to re-white balance my camera, right? Whenever you change the lighting, you need to re-white balance your camera, because when I had it with all white, my image became very yellow. I lost my natural tone for my camera. So what a gray card does, it allows you to properly white balance your camera. Yes, photography people, the industry just makes up dumb stuff. Why is it called white balance when you use an 18% gray card? I don't know. But use a gray card. You can use a white card. It does work, but with modern cameras, 18% gray card is your answer. This is a Calibrite 18% gray card. This is the right color. So this is not cheap. It's like $60. My portable one is in my backpack because I just came back from a trip. It's smaller. It's like $150 for a little passport. But one of those two, some sort of neutral gray. You can buy generic Best Buy JJC card. It does work, but I'm going to show you something why it's not as good. This is $18 JJC card. It comes with gray, white, and black. But here's why. Those are not the same color gray, people. That is real deal Holyfield 18% gray. Billions of dollars of films are shot using this target, right? This bought from Target, actually Best Buy or Amazon, but they're not the same color gray. So you are going to get shifts in your color. The reason why this is important, if you look pink, green, orange, or whatever in your shots and you can't seem to bucket, is because your camera is on automatic white balance and your lighting is tricking your camera. So using a white balance target and following the instructions on your camera to properly white balance your camera will instantly fix your picture and not make you look like zombie, 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 ay, ay, in your head. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Kat, for opening up that can of worms, because to me, if I could do anything, I would go around. If I had a jet, I would go to everybody's studio and fix their white balance. It hurts my feelings when I see bad white balance. I almost tear. Remember well, no, Kat, you're too young and you're Canadian, so you might not know this. But in the U.S., back in the 70s, we had a commercial where Native American man would be riding in a canoe and tearing because of how people were jacking up the environment. That's me when I see bad white balance. I am full tears. Sorry, I have to put things back. I'm a Virgo. What do you want? It has to go back exactly like it came out the package too. All right, let me, there we go. That's how you keep it though, because this card not cheap, so you got to keep it, keep it clean though. All right. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. No anamorphic lens. That's a Tom Buck thing. I do love them, but no, this is just a plain Jane holy feel. My background is 2, 4, so that's 8, roughly 10 feet. Roughly 10 feet. Ceiling panels are 2x4, so that's, yeah. Da, da, da. I covered that already. Hopefully we got that. It's PAVO, by the way. I would starve on a desert island with nothing to eat but broccoli before I ever did a stream with Wi-Fi. You hardwire. That's it. Hold on. 1 second. Oi. Renee, do yourself a favor. Go to Amazon and look up AV2000 2-port gigabit power line starter kit. It doesn't matter whether it's TP-Link or whatever brand. Just whatever brand you find of this. I like TP-Link. You want the AV2000 because this is the fastest currently. Actually, there might be a newer one now, AV2400. But you just buy one of this, follow the instructions, hardwire yourself. It doesn't matter how far away. Never stream off of Wi-Fi. That, whew, bang. Yes, I have the T-bar ceilings, and I use T-bar hooks, which I've showed in the past. My ceiling is 8 feet, Rich. Lilliput A7 with a Desk View T3. I'm trying to catch it up. Boom. What's up, PJ? Good to see you here. Yeah. Thank you, Stefan. So, Alex, here's the thing. I'm so glad you bring this up. This is funny because light has gotten better because of LED, but physics don't care about LED. right? So it's funny because you're right. What we're doing, this is no different than, was done way back in the very beginning of Paramount Pictures or Charlie Chaplin movies or whatever back in the day. We are literally just adjusting it according to the tech, but physics is physics. Like light doesn't care. Light has been coming to this earth long before we humans ever arrived. When there were just, aliens and whatnot, that light was here. So yeah, boom. I think I covered it, Peter. I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings with that thought, but don't do it. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Thank you, Katie. Katie put the playlist for how we built the test studio. I talked a lot about this. Just checky. Boom, boom, boom. It's funny. Like, the quickest thing anyone can do is set their lighting up straight, and it just goes beautiful. My basement is photography viewing area. It goes back about 35 feet with images on the wall, and we all use track lighting to light the white. 100%. Man, who has an amazing studio that I would love to build one day, but it's just real estate in Hawaii. It's too expensive. Is Lou from Unbox Therapy. I love what he did. I love what he did with the lighting to that place. It makes it so awesome. So let me see. I'll pull it up real quick for you guys. What he did, which is so amazing. If you guys haven't watched this, he took these ceiling lights like I have right here. He made every single one of them a light panel. It is amazing. It is a feat of physics that I wish I could repeat. Let's jump to about here. So there's the ceiling, and each one of these is controlled. So it's a giant warehouse, and he replaced every one of the ceiling lights with a light panel. There's a couple videos on YouTube of how to do this effectively in your basement if you have using like standard issue T8 fixtures and controllable bulbs. But like the lighting that it gives off is amazing. So when he does his show where he's just sitting down and talking, it still looks amazing, right? You know what I mean? Let's see. Where's Lou in the couch? Oh, here it is. It's on this. When they're just sitting on the couch having a conversation, the lighting is just gorgeous, right? This, my friends, is just beautiful. And it looks like, okay, that's a lot of light, but when you see the individual shots, it still looks amazing. All right. Of course, I jumped to somewhere where you don't have a full screen. There's full screen, Lou, right there. Look, the lighting is just gorgeous. So he pulled off an amazing feat. And in theory, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 16 total in my ceiling. I can completely pull this off. It would, just take some work. But I could pull this off with clear ceiling panels, 2 Pavo tubes for each gap, and completely app controlled. It'll be dope. So one of these days I might partake into that. It's going to set me back about $4 or $5 grand, but it could completely change the look. I think, wait, does Cat really have no practical lights, Bob? I got to double check that. I think she might. I forget. I know Kat probably already answered that question, but yeah, I forget if she had practical light or not. But yeah, Kat's setup is amazing. Wait, the clock never moves? The, Reno, the paint color that I use is called Manchester United. Glory, glory. I put the link in the chat. Scroll up a little bit. Coming in here with that Gooner stuff. Blah. Sorry, guys. I always get sidetracked when football comes around. Round, not hand egg. Okay, the other people already answered. Thank you. Tatiana, I'm so glad I found this comment. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That standing in front of the thing, elbow patches, brown Oxford, like I've been teaching since my days at Cambridge. That's out the window. Nobody wants to see that. If people disconnect from that. I did a stream back in January where I told everybody the most important thing you can do to your setup right now is kill some of the polish. The most important thing you can do to some of your setup right now is appear more real, appear more like a standard issue human being. And I think people thought I was crazy, but I'm glad Tatiana said it, because as a university professor, even she can tell you, nobody wants to see that. Like, that is gone. That is out the window. I'm laughing at everybody teasing Kat about her clock. I'm going to send Kat a clock. Dun, 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 let me just check. See, there you go. Westcott Spider Lights, they're the best. Yes, they can. 100%. You can easily find one. Depending on where you live, Mary, fantastic question, by the way, depending on where you live. Okay, so I live here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Now, I know how to do this myself, but let's just say I needed some help. I would just go do a search and be like, look for the film school that's in my neighborhood. Turns out University of Hawaii has a film school. And I could just put in a thing on the bulletin board at the university, film school, community theater, things like that. Anybody around here knows lighting. Every one of those people has a lighting person that can come and help you out. It's really simple. Yes, we'll go over mics right now. I just want to make sure. So here's the answer to mics. Get a dynamic microphone. Start with something on the low end scale, Samson Q2U. My bag is somewhere close by. Oh, I take it back. It's upstairs in my house. Samson Q2U will range you between $50 and $80 depending on what part of the country you live in. It is hands down the best dynamic mic that you can buy under $100. Just start there. Next, I would go to Shure MV7 or something in its same quality, meaning the Wave 3. This is a Shure MV7. $250. The Wave 3, basically the same price, made by Elgato. The Lewitt 440, those guys, I mean, basically it. But this advantage here, this is USB oriented, whereas the others are not. I mean, where's that box? I keep moving stuff, and then I forget what I did with it. Boom. Another good mic. This is the Deity VO7U USB mic. Super inexpensive. Works similarly to the Shure. Shure is slightly better, but this is a beauty if you want something a little sexy. The Deity VO7U USB mic, right? And then if you're going to get into grown folks mics, again, that's XLR. That's the MV7 or this. So the advantage of the MV7 and the Samsung Q2U, they're both USB and XLR. Now, somebody's going to ask, because this always comes up, what about the ATR 2100? That is a Samsung Q2U. They're identical twins. The other one just costs a little bit more. So get whichever. They're basically the same. I swear to you, they're identical mics, but that is the budget mic category coming in at sub $100 would be the Samsung Q2U. Like, it's just amazeballs, right? Here we go. Sweetwater, $69, right? And that's coming with a stand and a cover and $5,500 worth of drums. No, take it back. This is it. This is glory, glory, hallelujah. If you want to come in cheap and sound good, go straight to that, right? Then after that, you would go to something like this MV7, which is going to cost you a little bit more, but amazeballs, right? Sound fantastic, easily adjustable. Software has built-in loop back, all of the above. So that's the next best choice. And then after that, we go into grown folks game and we get SM7B. Those are my microphone choices all day, every day, whatever day of the week it is. Then the next thing we get into is, oh, but I don't like the mic in the shot. I'm going to refrain from my real thoughts on this and just tell you, all right, cool, get a shotgun and start out probably on the low end scale at 250 would be this Rode Video Mic NTG. Behave. There it is. Video Mic NTG. This is going to set you back $300, but it's USB, right? There's a little thing on the side so you can plug it directly to USB, plug it directly to your computer. Again, software has built-in loopback, has volume control on the side, has all the right roll-offs and gain. This is amazing. After that would be in my little drawer of secrets over here. Deity S2. This is a Deity S Mic 2S. Sorry. These are good. All the Rode NTGs are fine. The thing about you people with your shotgun mics is you all think that you're cute because your mic is out of your shot, but you all kind of sort of sound like you're talking in a tunnel because most people don't treat their room when they go to shotgun. So if you're going to go to a shotgun, these little things on the side here, that's known as an interference tube. We have an entire workshop on microphones where I cover all of this in detail. But those little stripes on the side, that's known as an interference tube. What that means is the mic is here, not here. This is designed to pick up the ambiance in the room. So all of you shotgun mic people, all we hear in your shot is every time you stop talking because your shotgun is listening to your room. So your air conditioner, your fan, your kids, your neighbor's kids, your bad kids, your dogs, your birds, your crickets, cockadoodle-doos, whatever. Those are called roosters, Doc. That's what we hear because you insist on using the shotgun. But if you have an SM7B or MV7, we wouldn't hear any of that. Why? Because these guys reject all of that excess outside noise because it's not designed to pick up ambiance. It's designed to pick up the voice 4 to 6 feet away. That's it. That's it. It's the reason why when I go back there to try to explain you lights, you guys can barely hear me, even though I talk loud, is because this mic is designed to hear 46 inches away from you, and that's about it. It don't want to hear much after that. But that's why my mic sounds like just one. So, yeah, that's the basics in microphones. Dynamic mics wherever possible. Lavalier, if you want to be no mic in a shot, I'd probably go lavalier long before I went shotgun. Shotguns, you're going to have to treat your room. So if you have a purpose-built studio like myself, sound blankets, blackout curtains, things that could break up the clap in your room, that would be good. If this room wasn't treated, when you hear that echo. So when you hear people do their recordings and they sound like they're talking into a box, they're using a shotgun in an untreated room because they didn't want to have a mic in the shot. And honestly, it's hard to listen to. It's hard to listen to for more than like 10 minutes. All my lights are remote operated. They're all operated by this or by the remote, which I also have, a tiny little remote. NAN lights. NAN lights are all Wi-Fi controlled. Same with aperture, all Wi-Fi controlled. I can control my NAN lights with my Stream Deck. I just choose not to, but you can. Thank you. Victor brings up a very salient point. Very salient point. The problem with fake backgrounds is when you guys are in Ontario, Canada, and you throw up the Hawaii background, you ain't fooling nobody. I can just take this camera outside and show you Hawaii background. Humble brag. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. I don't know why anybody thinks that's cute. It's not cute at all. Like, if you show me snow, rain, misery, and moose, okay, maybe I'll believe you because you where you are. Hey, Midori. Boom, boom, boom. That gray is a lie. Yes, thank you, Kat. Same thing with camera softening. Speaking of Kat, says camera softening on your camera, like pushing the camera. Don't do that. It looks horrible. It just looks horrible. Oh, okay. He had that commercial in Canada. Okay, thank you, Stephanie. I just don't know if Kat's old enough to have seen that. She's still kind of a baby. There's no tutorial on how to white balance your camera. You know why? Every camera is different. But the best place to find a tutorial to white balance your camera, this is going to be so mind-blowing, KV. You're going to just like, oh my God, Doc, I never knew this in a million years. This, my friends, is a camera box. Inside this camera box, there is a brand new Sony A6600. Okay? When you open the camera box, there is a chance to win $1,000, a thing that tells you how to buy all the lenses that you want, and then the manual. The manual comes in about 50 languages. So although it seems thick, the actual manual is about 8 pages. And we're talking 8 tiny pages, right? So this is the iPhone, this is the manual. So not even big pages. Like they're 8 tiny little pages. If you go into your manual to your camera, it will tell you how to set the white balance in 2 paragraphs or less. I don't know why everybody buys freaking $1,000 camera and never reads them 8 pages. All right, this is a $1,700 camera, but still, why in God's name would you spend over $1,000 of your hard-earned money that you complain to us about in the group, in the Ecamm group, about all of us people with gas making people buy stuff and you don't want to buy? Why would you spend that kind of money and not read that simple little paragraph on how to white balance your camera? Every camera does it differently. It's only 2 button presses. Canon, you go into a menu, you press a button, you press another button, take a picture, it adjusts. In Sony, you press a button, you press another button, take a picture, it adjusts. Panasonic, the same. Nikon, the same. All of them are the same, but different. And how you do it is in the manual. And if you lost your manual or you threw it away or whatever, GOOGLE/model numbers/manual. It literally will take you seconds. It would take you faster to go to Google to the manual page of white balance your camera than it would take you to go to YouTube and try to find a tutorial that teaches you how to do it, because it literally would be 2 paragraphs long, and every person that's bought any camera came with a manual. So it is so simple, it's not even funny. But yeah, it kind of cracks me up. Cable out of the wire is better. What his problem, Carly, was he's not close to the router. So what this thing does is it uses the wiring in your home, the architectural wiring in your home, as an Ethernet cable. So your router could be on the other side of the house and the signal will travel down your power lines, aka your electric lines, or as they call it in the UK, the mains. It will come down the mains and then come out the other side as internet. That's what that works. Cable is always better. Boom. Thank you, Mike. Mike covered it. That is correct. I am scrolling. Yeah, this is probably one of the best things you can do. You can find a person in your community that can run that cable for you for a little bit, and it will change your entire life, as opposed to fight bad internet. I'm gonna send her a Manchester United clock right there. I'll be like, Kat, here's your Manchester United clock. Kat, did you pull the battery out because it was ticking? That's what I wonder. Here, guys, I'm gonna cover this real quick. Anyway, Alan, how you doing, brother? Good to see you here. Here we go. Let's do this. Nanlite Pavo tubes. I got the Pavo Tube 2Cs. I got the Pavo Tube 15Xs. And then we also have the 30Cs in the Ecamm studio. These are Nanlite Pavo tubes. Greatest lights ever invented. Aperture just came out with new tubes, by the way. If you're an Aperture fan, they literally just came out. What is an Aston origin? See, Nadine, now you got me looking on. I was thinking of Aston Kutcher. AstonoriGin. Me never heard of that. Oh, that's cool. How you set it up, plug it in, stick it on your microphone, and then start talking, and then you will adjust it accordingly. This looks gorgeous. Why are you giving me gas, lady? What are you doing here? Wow, purty. Looks pretty. Yeah, this is pretty. I really like it. Wow. This is amazing. Sorry guys. I'm over here geeking out. Man, you can't show me stuff like this. I start having geek outfits right away. Looks good. I am assuming this is XLR. They don't really show in the pictures, but just looking at the type of capsule it is, it's probably XLR mic. All you need to do is plug it in. Yeah, there it is, the cable. All you need to do is plug it into your computer and open it up with your interface and set it to where whenever you're talking, your your meters never pass yellow. There you go. So I'm trying to make English come out of my face. It's not working. Watch this. You're going to take this. You're going to press this. Ecamm sound levels. Here you go. All you're going to do is plug in your interface, set it to unity gain. There's a mark on your interface. I don't care what interface you have. There's a mark that's slightly bolder than the rest of the meters. That's known as unity gain. On my mixer, it's this line right here, right? So you're going to set it to like this, and then you're going to talk into your microphone, and you want your meters to not hit red. So on this particular section right here, my line is right here. That's my line. If I go loud, see, it turns red, and then it'll come back to normal, and you just want to be there. In Ecamm, it's this line over here. It's barely touching yellow. It doesn't matter what microphone you have, what interface you have, whatever, that is the setting. That's the end of it. All right, that covered that. No. Okay, I should stop that. Some people have no choice. Like, they just have bad kids or noisy neighbors or chickens or whatever. But it all sounds processed and fake, and it loses qualities in the human voice that are good. Chris, built in the Discord, though, has gotten better. So if you're forced into it, yeah, it's better to fix your room, fix your mic, and not trust any of that weird stuff. But it's definitely a situation where you don't have an opportunity to do any other way. Chris is your friend. Chris with an S is my friend, but Chris is your friend. But avoid it if you can avoid it. You never use AirPod Pros in your ear and mic, ever. Because we just stated a while back, no wireless anything. You just don't. I use headphones. I don't need them because I'm by myself. If I'm in my guest, headphones in the head instantaneously. DocRock.live/IEMs, IEMs, in-ear monitor S. DocRock.live/IEMs, you'll see an entire list of the IEMs I use. They cost $20. I think Keely just said what I said. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, no Bluetooth, anything. I use in-ear monitors all day, every day. That is my life. I have a whole page of it on my site. So yeah, in-ear monitors are the way to go. Oh, I think Victor was trying to be funny over here. Rode video might go to, yet I still use my Shure MV7. I wonder why. I forgot why Sasha said ouch, but it's probably something crazy that I said. You don't, Mike, this is a good thing. Okay, so I don't use a cloud lifter because it generates noise, right? And I don't need a cloud lifter because Puerto Rican. But if I were to take this and do one of these, it just doesn't have the same color anymore, no matter how loud I do, right? It just lacks the same color. So even over here, pointed, it just lacked color. Over here, it has that nice, deep, rich Lou Rawls you'll never find, because mics are meant to be spoken into the frustrum. Every microphone comes with a piece of paper that tells you what the frustrum of that microphone looks like. A frustrum is the cone that is designed to pick up the best pattern. So the best pickup pattern for MV7 or SM7B is basically 2 to 4 inches away, dead center, top capsule. That's what it's built for. Everything else would be faking it. I do not use Mi 6s. I can't stand those things. They're too short, but close enough. They're good. The cord is too short. I have a big head and a taller body. If you're small in stature, Mi 6 might get away, but I don't use them. The cord is too short. Case, I'm using exactly what you're using. The same ones that I got for you. They're on my kit. But if you look at my kit and you look under IEMs, you'll see what I upgraded to. Not that Mi 6s are bad, they're good. The cord is just really short, and I kept hanging myself. See, I knew it, Cat. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you. All right, we got 7 minutes left. Thank you. Just scrolling through real quick. Thank you, Tony. Tony, can you say it again for the people in the back? The idea of I don't have time to read manuals cost you more time later while you're futzing around to do something. And I have literally broken very expensive stuff right out of the package for not reading the manual. So, yeah, I'm about that. I don't even know how to answer this question. Boom. Adrian. Yo. Yes, okay. See, it was ticking. I got it. See, I knew it. And again, the Yeti would have picked up the ticking. See the SM7B, that thing's ticking, but you can't hear it. Now it's further back, but also you're just not going to hear it. It's a Camlink issue, and it's actually, yeah, it's a Camlink issue, and Camlink is having a hard time fixing it, but there is a fix for it on their site. You need to download the Camera Companion app for that Elgato, and then, yeah, there's a way to fix it. There is a post inside the Ecamm community that explains how to fix it. Thank you for explaining, yes. Super funny. It's YouTube, so there's automatically a recording. If you want to get rid of crisp, all you have to do is get rid of the other part. Absolutely. I can't explain it enough. It's a character thing. It's a thing that everybody will have an opinion on, but just try it for yourself. Go maybe to a store. A lot of if you have a guitar place in your neighborhood, they will let you, rent mics. So you can just try it. I guarantee you won't want to go back. It sounds so much different. The most impactful thing about this training is that it's helping me understand why this matters and why you need to care. 100%. I think most people just don't. They just think I'm going to just pop up my Zoom and call it a day. But again, get your lighting together, add a little bit of your character, put some things in it. This is where I don't like green screen, because I immediately knew nothing about you. when you have your green screen on and like, okay, maybe I can put myself in a Millennium Falcon and you'll get that I'm a Star Wars fan, or I can use my actual studio and you can just see for your own eyeballs. Like, I don't know, to me, the fake green screen thing just doesn't have the same amount of like pop, right, as this. There's no question, right? There's no question. Right? When you look up here and you see my handmade, right? When you see all of those babies up there, you just know, right? When you see Manchester United, you know. So this is giving you an opportunity to know the person that you're talking to. Green screen kills that. It immediately kills the human connection. And I just wish people wouldn't do that. Why do you put headphones on if you have a guest? Good question. Let's cover this real quick. Because I was going to give you my mom answer. Hold on. Let me turn on my speakers real quick and you'll understand. So this is my room with my speakers on and me talking into the microphone. When you have your computer open and iMac or, notebook or whatever, and your speakers are right there and your mic is right here, this is what it sounds like. Now, again, my speakers are on the other side of the freaking room. My speakers are all the way over there. I can't reach them. My speakers are literally 60 inches away from me and they're still obnoxious, right? It sounds like, I think the proper terminology is $2 signs. So if you turn this off and you have your headphones on, you sound professional and clean and delicious. And you know what? It is impossible to have echo when the speakers aren't talking to the mic. You should never have your speakers hear the mic. It's the reason why when you go on stage and the person with the microphone walks in front of the speakers, everyone goes. So, yeah, it's physics. It's nothing to do with feelings, facts. Facts are not feelings. We work on physics. Sound is physics. You're moving air at a certain frequency that allows folks to hear. So, boom. I'm almost done. Boom, boom, boom. If you have a guest in person, you still wear still wear headphones then, because you're going to have your mics turned down at a level where you're not crisscrossing each other. So then in order to hear what they're saying, you're going to want to, so still, you should always wear headphones at any given point. Solid cams under $1,000. A6400, SM7V, ZV, E10. Done. Dimitra, docrock.live/IEMs. Yes, Mi 6 is also with no hangups. I'm just telling you, for the same basic price, you'll find the IEMs I have listed on my kit. They sound even better than the Mi 6s, but Mi 6s are fantastic. Yeah. Boom. I think we covered a lot. We're scrolling down. Yes, I'm not even going to front. I'm not even going to try to be cute about it. Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. So, yeah. Thank you. All right. I think we got it. Now, that's the thing. If you're going to do it, if you're going to do it for characters, go all the way left. Good point. Fantastic point, and a fantastic way to end the stream. 100% correct. Go all the way crooked. If you're going to do green screen, make it as amazing. Right now, I'm not wearing headphones because I don't have a guest. It's just me talking into the room by myself. I don't have to pay attention to any sounds. But I always wear headphones. But today, I'm by myself, so it doesn't matter in this particular case. But you should anyway. I know my setup is basically flawless because I set it up. But yeah, for most of you, running with headphones. Anyway, gotta go. We gotta give room for Adrian. Adrian is coming up next, and I'm going back to bed. Okay, because I got up at 3 o'clock for this, so I'm going back to bed. It's still 6 a.m. here. I'm going back to sleep. I appreciate you guys. If you guys have any questions, I'm in the Ecamm community always. And affiliate people, if you are an Ecamm affiliate, check your email. We sent you something yesterday, and you're going to want to come over to there. So check your email yesterday, and make sure you get in when you can, and I'll see you guys there, or I'll see you in the community. If you have any questions, you can email me at marketing@ecamm.com. And I do this basically every Alan Jones, you cannot ruin me at the end of my stream like that. No, dang it. Dang it, Alan. Dang it. Anyway, I love you guys. You guys freaking rock, man. You guys absolutely rock. All right. That's funny. Alan just ruined my whole entire day with a single comment. Oh, my God. This guy. This guy.
Coming straight out of Ecamm. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. It's a jam for the Ecamm fam. This is a jam for the Ecamm fam. Ecamm fam is the name of the jam.
Hold it, stop the music.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Can I please have your attention?